And welcome back to the Financially Simple podcast. Today we're going to continue our deep dive into the discussion about cash flow as part of the personal finances for business owners. I've titled today's topic, What Can You Do with the Extra Money Each Month in Your Budget? Man, whenever I say that, I realize I am opening up a can of worms. I realize that. What can you do with the extra money in your budget? It depends on which side of the camp you fall. And what I mean by that is the can of worms that I'm opening up is many will say, well, pay off all the debt you can. Get all the debt you can with all the extra money. Others would say, invest it. Some would say, move it to cash. Today I want to kind of cut through some of those things. I'm not going to go into too terrible much detail today. I have written multiple blog posts on this particular topic. I've even been quoted in many of the national leading financial articles out there about should you pay off your house or invest, those type of things. I have got so many articles out on the podcast. I'm sorry, on the blog Financially Simple. I'm not going to address those today. Today I want to give you some tips or some things you can do with the extra money in your budget. You said, buddy, I don't have any extra money in my budget. You will. You will. If you follow the steps that we talked about in the last 4 or 5 episodes, you will eventually get to have extra money in your budget. It will happen. Brother, you don't understand. Yeah, I do. I've been there. I know how frustrating this money thing can be. I do. I know how annoying it can be to have, seems like every day you go and you work your fingers to the bone, and when you look at your bank account at the end of the month, there's nothing there. I have been there. I know what it's like. There was a song written by, I think it was the Byrds. I know it came from this book of Song of Solomon in the Old Testament of the Bible. It said everything there's a season. There's a time for feast and there's a time for famine. So you may say, buddy, I got lots of extra income right now. What do I do with it? Good, you're in feasting mode. You're on top of the mountain. Don't blink too long. You're going to be down in the valley before you know it. We've all been there. Or you may say, well, buddy, Justin, right now, man, I don't have a lot of extra money. Okay, then just tap these things away in your head and just lean on them a little bit. We really don't know when the seasons are going to change, but they will change. They will. If you plant the proper seeds, you'll reap the produce that you're planting. If you listen to the last 5 episodes and you work on your budget, friends, you're going to have extra money. So I just want to say as an encouragement, because I know how annoying it can be for some financial guy to get on the TV and say, save. I mean, I want to just choke some people sometime when they do that. So enough of my soapbox. What can you do with the extra money each month? So I'm going to give you a couple of things. Number one, you can pay off your debt. I knew it, Justin. I knew you were going to go there. Yeah, you have to remember that there's 2 sides of the balance sheet. Inside of our personal lives, there are assets and there are liabilities. Anytime we pay off debt, we are adding to our assets. We are reducing our net worth. Thus, we're not adding to our assets, we're adding to our net worth. We're paying off our liabilities, thus we're increasing our net worth. So right now, with interest rates pushing 5, 6, 7% in some cases, I saw a student loan the other day that was almost at 8%. My goodness, you want to knock that thing out before you ever start investing. You're like, well, Justin, which debt should I pay off first? Funny you should ask that. We actually have a course that's now Financially Simple for business owners on how to get out of debt. And this isn't Dave Ramsey stuff. Dave Ramsey's got some great stuff, but for most business owners, his stuff just leaves me wanting many times. And I love Dave. I love his concepts. In fact, I'm getting ready to shoot a video on Dave Ramsey Left Me Broke and unmiss some of the things I hear when people are bashing Dave. So we're going to get to that here very soon. But you can pay off your debt, okay? You can. You can pay a little bit extra toward your credit card. You can pay a little bit extra to your car loan. Now, should you is a different story. If you look at the course, you may find out that sometimes you shouldn't pay off your debt. There are reasons to do that sometimes. Well, Justin, are you debt-free? Nope. Will you ever be debt-free? Nope, probably not. Well, you're a fool, Justin, perhaps. But mathematically, I believe I'm doing the right things, and I can prove it mathematically once you bring in the tax code. And I talk about that in my debt course. So one of the things you can do is you can pay off your debt. If you're like me and you're debt adverse, you might want to get rid of the ugly debt, the nasty debt, the stinky debt, that redheaded stepchild debt. You might want to get rid of those debts. But that's what you can do. Number one is you can pay off your debt. Number two, you can stabilize your monthly budget. I give this example oftentimes to business owners when they've placed so much attention on their business that they've forsaken their home front. See, I'm an entrepreneur. That's who I am. But my wife is not. Miss Emily, she's the sweetest, most compassionate person in the world. Anybody who knows my wife will tell you that I married way outside my league. She is beautiful. She is kind. She's everything that I'm not. I'm an ugly, mean ogre. She's not. I'm greatly blessed and highly favored that the Lord put her in my life. And I mean that sincerely. She doesn't listen to these episodes. She'll probably never even know I said that about her. But Emily's not an entrepreneur. Whenever we were starting our business, she was paying the bills. I was so busy working 70, 80 hours, 90 hours a week in Financially Simple and Heritage Investors that I didn't want to focus on the bills. And she would lose sleep at night because we only had $50, $100 in our checking account. It didn't bother me because I knew how much money you had in the business account. Anytime I could move the money from the business account to the home account. But it bothered her. I remember one night she was crying. I couldn't figure out what's going on. And she said, Justin, are we going to be broke forever? And I went, yep, probably so. And she said, oh, seriously, are we going to be broke forever? And it's a real toil on that non-business owner spouse. So one of the things you can do with extra cash flows is you can increase your float. You can stabilize your budget. So one of the best things I ever did for my marriage, one of the best things I ever did for my home finances was to set a overdraft protection account in place. So Emily still doesn't like dealing with personal finances. She does not want to pay the bills. It stresses her out. So I do, and I pay it once a month. And I don't look at the account during the month. And there are some times whenever life happens and we spend a little bit more money than I have in my checking account. I don't like keeping a lot of checking account in there because I'm money in my checking account. Because if me or Emily see it, we're going to spend it. So what do? We create an overdraft account. We used our extra money in our budget to set an overdraft account up, and it holds about $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 depending on the month. And then for some reason whatsoever, we do not have to think about, Justin, we're spending too much money, or Emily, we're spending too much money in our budget. If we happen to, for whatever reason, decide we want to go out and buy something, or we want to spend some extra money on a trip or whatever, then our checking account does not go in the negative. Well, Justin, if you just kept more money in your checking account, you wouldn't need that. You're right. You're exactly right. That is the case. But in our family situation, me and Emily both know if we see extra money in our checking account, somebody's buying a gun and somebody's buying a purse. Just going to happen. So we don't look at our extra money account. We don't look at our overdraft protection account. So one of the things you can do is you can use the extra cash flow to stabilize your budget. It worked great for me. And once we did that, I watched my bride, the love of my life, the princess in my life, I watched her countenance improve so much. Her stress level dropped. My stress level dropped. Money became not a priority at that point. So if you have some extra cash, stabilize your budget if you haven't done it yet. Third thing you can do is you can invest in assets, including other businesses. So you probably are going to invest in a 401k. You probably are going to invest in an HSA if you work with me, or an IRA, or specifically the Roth IRA. That's something I do every year. You probably are going to pay down certain debts in an aggressive manner. You are probably going to stabilize your monthly budget, but you can also invest in other assets. There are so many asset classes out there. You can invest in cryptocurrency. You could. I have a program that I'm testing out right now because I get so many questions. So I buy a little cryptocurrency. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just figuring out how it works. You can invest in non-traded positions, non-traded assets. You might buy another business or interest in another business. You might buy real estate. One of the things we're doing right now is we're buying raw land. We know that we're going to be able to timber the land and receive X number of dollars in income off the land. And then in about 10 years, we're going to be able to subdivide that land and reap a nice little benefit for the subdivision of our property. So we're buying some land right now with our extra cash. You can buy assets. So there's all sorts of assets you can buy. I jokingly talk about buying guns, but there are some people that actually do buy guns. There are some people that buy cars. There are some people that buy, believe it or not, purses. I didn't realize there was a market for purses. There are collector items purses. Who knew? There's some people who buy art. You can invest your extra dollars into assets. So that's the third thing you can do. I don't want you to think, well, Justin's a financial guy. He's telling me to buy stocks and bonds. No, I'm not. I'm telling you to buy assets. What is an asset? An asset is simply something that's going to appreciate over time. Simple as that. I'm not telling you to go out and buy fancy cars that are going to depreciate over time. I'm not talking about that with your extra cash. You should have that as part of your budget, not with your extra money. The fourth thing you can do is you can invest in yourself. Now, I'm a big proponent of investing in yourself. Anybody who knows me realizes that I believe that education is one of those things that no one can take away from you. I also believe that education without application leads to stagnation. Have you ever seen an old pond on a farm somewhere that's all covered with green algae? Maybe you're riding in the countryside and you look out there and there's that old pond. It's just slime green. It doesn't have any application. It's just stagnant. So you can invest in yourself. You can invest in your education. You can invest in your knowledge. Go take a sales course if you're a business owner. Go take a sales course. Spend a little extra money. Get another credential. I did an episode about 1 + 1 + 1 = 9, talking about the way the power of credentialing works in particular industries. Go learn something. Invest in yourself with those dollars. Another thing you can do is you can increase your charitable contribution. Hang on, before I go to that one. Another way you can invest in yourself, time out, soapbox moment here. Here you go. This is free of charge. Another way you can invest in yourself is take your kids and your family on a trip somewhere that's memorable. Go see the Vatican and learn about what the Vatican is. Go and visit the Middle East and see what it's all about. Go and take and experience history. We took our kids to Gettysburg to look at the Gettysburg battlefield and spent a whole day out on the battlefield. Man, it impacted our kids. You can take your extra dollars, and that is investing in yourself. It's investing in your children. My children will never forget Gettysburg. I'll never forget Gettysburg. The feeling I had, the anger and the rage about how people could fight, just, man, it impacted me. But at the same time, knowing that there were men and women who just gave all for what they believed in. And ultimately, at the end of the day, justice and righteousness prevailed in many different areas, not just in the in legal things, but in so many areas. So invest in yourself. You can increase your charitable contributions. You know, we've all been blessed. We are all greatly blessed. I get tired of hearing people whine, especially people that have millions of dollars in accounts, whine about how misfortunate they are. I'm like, are you kidding me? We live in the United States of America. In my opinion, may not be yours, but my opinion, the greatest country in the world. It's my opinion. I'm proud to be an American. I love flying the red, white, and blue. Whenever the songs come on, me and my family, we're going to stand up, pledge allegiance, hand on our heart, hands by your side, stand at attention, don't say a word until that song's over, and then clap it and scream as loud as you can. Man, I bleed red, white, and blue. But you can give charitable contributions for so much. We've been given so much. Maybe you have some extra dollars and you can bless somebody with it. Maybe it's through a church. Maybe it's through a special organization. Maybe it's through your time. Maybe those dollars free you up so you don't have to go to work and work as much. And now you can take off some time and go invest your time in some other people's life. Guys, I got to tell you, some of the most monumental things in my life was whenever a friend took off work to come be a friend to me when I was going through a hard time. And how were they able to do that? They took the extra money they had and took off work and used that extra income to help me. That was a charitable contribution. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And finally, number 6, you can increase spending. Well, Justin, that's not a hard one. You're right. We all have a tendency to do that one anyways. But no, you can increase spending. I say it almost every episode as we're going through cash flow. Life is not about what? Getting all you can, canning all you get, and sitting on your can. Life's not about that. You can go increase your spending, and you can do a number of things. So you want to go buy a coffee every morning. Go buy a coffee every morning if that's what you want to do. You can do that. So what can you do with the extra money every month? Man, you can do so much. You can do so much. I would caution you with this. To whom much is given, much is required. If you've been blessed financially, share it. Take your time, take your resources, take your abilities, and bless somebody else. It'll make you feel better. That's what will happen. So I challenge you that with this particular episode. What can you do with your extra money? You can do so much. Guys, like I say every week, life is hard. It is. Life is good and life can be frustrating. Money doesn't have to be. Let's continue to make our lives at least financially simple. You guys go out and make it an awesome day.